Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. We've just found what seems to be really the first Easter egg step for Revelations. Yep, this thing is completely frustrating to high heaven because of the fact that the Keeper glitches out all the time, but you've got to use it to do this step. So what you need to do is call in the Keeper Protector once you have activated the 4 graves in the spawn, and potentially while wearing Al's hat, but we're not sure right now. We're still working on this Easter egg. This is a live update video. You've then got to jump between different islands of the map, and what will happen is between some of the islands, the Keeper will stop, as you can see here, and start wiggling its arms around in the air. It will also charge a sort of ball in front of it, as you can see in this gameplay, and what that means is that you've got to protect the Keeper, and zombies are going to charge towards it. Protect it for maybe a round and a half, something like that, and then what will happen is the Keeper will despawn, it will finish its little ritual, and what will amazingly then happen is you get a reel, an audio reel. And that audio reel can only be played in one place on the map. And that place is Nachtran Toten. So, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you a little bit more gameplay of us finishing off the Keeper ritual itself with him wiggling his arms in the air. I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay of us picking up the actual reel itself and the sound it makes and things like that, what it looks like, so that you guys can pick it up in your games as well. And then, lo and behold, I will be showing you guys the radio. Now, the thing I want to highlight here is that this radio, okay, is going to relate to the next Easter egg step. Richvan says something like, "This is the first step in our path towards salvation," or something like that. Like, this is the real deal. This is not a drill. And so we've got to go all systems go right now in figuring this stuff out. We've been trying a little bit in game, and I've been streaming it a little bit. I'll be streaming it even more today and tomorrow and the next day and all these days. God damn it, I'm going to be streaming the hell out of this thing to solve this damn Easter egg. But right now, this particular radio has a lot of story implications, and so I'm going to be breaking that down after we actually listen to it. But for now, let's take a listen. This is the place you're going to want to put the radio down, so it's a little box here. Just go over to it, hold square or X, and this is the quote.
After many weeks of failure and frustration, Dr. Maxis finally achieves the breakthrough he had been searching for. The results were immediate and startling. In the case of Subject 2-6, his instances of violent outburst were non-existent. His docility appeared. Permanent. Unfortunately, while we prepared to implement the treatment on the other subjects, there was an incident. During his field test this morning, Subject 2-6 attacked a handler. 2-6 and the handler were both destroyed. Maxis believes Subject 2-6 only attacked the handler. He does not know I was attacked as well. I have observed a developing pattern of high fevers and cold sweats. My thoughts are erratic. My relationship with Ludwig is complicated. I fear I cannot keep this secret from him for long.
So this is really interesting for a bunch of reasons. I'm going to talk briefly about the storyline implications of this right now, and then I'm going to talk about the stuff that we tried in-game so that you guys know exactly how we got this, what we were trying to get new stuff afterwards, and where we were at the time of recording this video. So first of all, the story. The woman you are hearing talk right now is SOPHIA. SOPHIA is the big metal robot in Gorod Krovi who you interact with throughout the Easter egg in order to get the power cores for Nikolai's mech and then complete their egg and send the characters' souls up to the house to join Dr. Monty. Now, SOPHIA was not always a robot. In fact, during Gorod Krovi, you hear Richvan say something along the lines of, "I think I know who this is, but I am not sure. She was not always a robot." Things like that. That's basically what Richvan says is the sentiment of his quote. And so it certainly sounds like Richvan recognizes the fact that SOPHIA, and he recognizes maybe her voice as well, but The fact that she is suddenly a big giant metal ball in this metal housing is very much peculiar to him. So that is the first sort of hint of Sophia coming into Black Ops 3 alongside the cyclic redundancy check message we had a couple of maps back. And it's really interesting because they've brought in Brock and Gary, they've brought in Sophia here, they've brought in Pablo and John Banana and all sorts of characters from Zombies history that have been untouched for years and years, and they're finally getting screen time, and Sophia's getting screen time in a very big way. So the message itself says that after weeks of failure and concentration, Dr. Maxis has finally achieved the breakthrough he'd been searching for. So this is when Maxis is looking to improve the human condition, supposedly, okay? And he's basically trying to break the trust barrier in the zombies' heads and figure out how he can control them, the undead army, or army untoten, if you will. The results were immediate and startling. In the case of Subject 2-6, his instances of violent outbursts were non-existent. His docility, which means sort of basically how docile he was, or how kind of tranquil and calm and unagitated he was, appeared permanent. Unfortunately, while we were prepared to implement the treatment on the other subjects, there was an incident, and during his field tests this morning, Subject 2-6 attacked a handler, and the handler and Subject 2-6 were destroyed. So, this is actually harking back to information all the way from Kino der Toten. It's that old. Jason Blundell has plucked story info from the past and thrown it forth into the future in a really startling manner here, and Sophia then says that essentially, Maxis thought that 2-6 only attacked the handler, but he doesn't know that Sophia was attacked as well. She says, I have observed a developing pattern of high fevers and cold sweats. My thoughts are erratic. My relationship with Ludwig is complicated. I fear I cannot keep this secret from him for long. This is seriously emotional stuff because Maxis was put into a drone by Richtofen. He begged Richtofen, in fact, to put him in that drone because he was succumbing to the sickness that he had become infected with at Excavation Site 64, also known as Origins, in his work at the Mound. Now, this is another case of that, seemingly, because what it looks like has happened here is Sophia has succumbed to the sickness, or is succumbing to the sickness, and that's going to be part of the Easter egg somehow, but also she's then probably been put into drone form by Maxis as a kind of, I love you, Sophia, I don't want you to die, I want to preserve you, and so into the robot you go. It's such a nice way of tying things together. It explains why she's a robot in Gorod Krovi, and it gives us a really nice link between the sort of stories of Sophia and of Maxis. So, that's the story implications of this. I'll make another video talking about it in much more depth when I'm less tired, because I haven't slept right now, and it's 7 or 8 p.m. in fact, but we're going to be talking about what we did to get this as well now, just so that you guys are nice and clear on it. So, first things first. Do the graves. I've got that on my channel multiple times, in fact. Those graves are the first thing that you're going to want to do in your game, most likely. The second thing that I think makes it maybe a little easier or something is picking up Al's hat. Make sure you grab that just for the bants, if anything. You might as well grab it. It doesn't hurt to do so. Then, you're going to want to basically bring the Keeper Protector around the map, and I've got guides to build the Keeper Protector on my channel if you need them. Bring it around the map, and you're going to want to keep bouncing between locations. Just keep going around the entire map, bouncing between locations, and each time you do so, stand on the back of the teleporter you have just used, the jump pad rather, sorry. It'll be red, you won't teleport, you won't jump for a while, and the Keeper will have a chance to get into position. Now, it seems like between rounds, he'll go into this mode where he'll basically be charging up, and he'll be charging up, and then you'll be able to protect him for a little while, and you'll get your audio reel at the end. One thing I do want to say is that we also had some really interesting stuff going on in Mob of the Dead with the cafeteria area, because there are some consume panels on the floor that we suspect are used for the Easter egg, but right now it's a little ambiguous because those consume panels are also in all of the areas with conversion generators. So around every single conversion generator, there are 4 consume panels on the floor. Right now, they do nothing, but maybe in future, we'll need to use the Keeper with them in some way in order to actually get them to activate or something like that, or maybe even to lower the pillars of the sort of spire that people have been talking about for the last few days. Also, another thing I want to mention is the fact that we've been growing the spark today as well. The spark in spawn, you can pick it up, and then if your teammates go down and you survive and they bleed out and then respawn, the spark will grow and you'll be able to see it on your player as long as you do not teleport and you do not use any jump pads. So that is another lead here. And I also want to mention that afterwards we couldn't get him to go anywhere and he kept glitching out. He kept being permanently enabled in the map, which is a glitch as far as we're aware, and so that was seemingly a bug with the step. Now, there are a couple of things I want to point out. Firstly, we couldn't place the radio anywhere else as far as we tried. There are locations for the radios in Origins and in Kino and one or two other places, so what we're thinking right now is that for the rest of the egg, we're going to have to pick up more radios and listen more to Sophia's story and her descent into zombiehood, or potentially descent into robothood, I suppose, as well. Now, that's going to be really interesting in itself from a story point of view, but also for the Easter egg, it's going to be extremely interesting to see if we keep picking up audio reels, like in Mob of the Dead with the headphones, or if Blundell's going to bring out some Blundell banter and do something new that is going to throw us all for a loop. Anyway, that's what we should probably be looking for right now. The next thing is going to be probably more audio reels. Anyway, I've rambled for enough time in this video. Guys, if this has been a useful video for you guys, leave a like. I've tried to cram in as much information as I could while being completely brain dead because I've been up for like 36 hours. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you've enjoyed, then leave a like. Now is the place to do it. Now is the time to do it. And I'll see you very soon in more Revelations Easter egg hunting videos and guides. Bye-bye.